Off you start.
Good evening, everyone. It's evening wherever you are, or whatever day.
Good evening, Bob.
What a day. David.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Kat.
Hi, Kat.
Oh, hi everyone.
Edwidge. Megan. And Denise and
Hi.
Pete. Hi.
Hi, Bob.
Well, it's the same old, same old.
Hi, Bob.
Hi. Who was that?
Denise.
Hi to me. Geraldine. Yeah, to say the same old thing. Why do I say the same old thing? Well, I could launch into various descriptions and stories about it. But the closer you are to it, the easier it is to see it. And keep coming back and recognising that it's always, already, and ever so. And it's closer to you, as the poet Tennyson said, closer than your hands and feet, nearer than your breathing. Because it's the very essence that you are. And because we have so long been locked into the belief we are this persona, this person, this separate entity, this individual, we keep believing and relating to that and believe I have got to become something. I've got to attain or get this. But the I is the conceptual image that you have about yourself. I am Bob. I am the Australian. I am this. I am that. There's always that one essence that's patterning, shaping, forming, appearing, and expressing as everything. Now that patterning, shaping, forming, appearing, and expressing are vibrations of energy. And vibration to all these different shapes and forms. And the words and the things we see appear to be real. Like this body appears to be real. But when you look into it, investigate it, and that's an important thing we say, that the false cannot stand up to investigation. And what are we seeking? We're seeking truth. And that's the scriptural saying, know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Not saying, keep reminding yourself that you are this fictitious entity and think you're going to get somewhere. That's not knowing. Immediately, right here and right now, everyone is knowing I am. I am that me, or whatever you mean, and others who have gone further know that I am the absolute. I am the one essence. I am the reality. I am the existence, consciousness, bliss, Satchitananda, Nama Rupa. The 5 factors of Hinduism, which they call Advaita. So that is existence. Anyone who's not existing right now? No, you'll say, I'm existing. Anyone who's not conscious or unaware? No, you're not unconscious. You must be conscious, and you're not unaware. So you must be aware. Anyone who's not happy to be or loving to be. And that love of being is coursing through your veins, through your heart, and through the whole body. As that warmth, affectionate, loving, intelligence, energy of life. You are that life. So where does the persona come into that? That's where the word person comes from, persona, the mask. And the mask is a conceptual image we have about it. Where does that come into it? You realise it's only a conceptual image you've taken on board when your parents told you you were Bill or you're Johnny or you're Jane or you're this or that. We've taken on the belief, this is what I am. I am Jane. I am this body and mind. I am this separate entity. And we couldn't say any of that until we learnt words. And words are concepts. Concepts form as images of ideas and things like that. Words. And a concept is just a mental construct. And when you look at the words, you realise the word's not the thing. Word's never the thing. Take the word water. You think you'll quench your thirst with the word? I'm going to have a drink of water. But you're not trying to drink the word because you know it's pointless. You'll get a glass of the actual thing of the liquid and drink it. The word fire, does it burn your mouth if you speak it? Can you cook with it? Can you eat yourself? No. All these words or concepts we have about ourselves and about everything else. So what's this word I or me? You'll say I am. It's this I am that I am. But what do you relate that to? You relate it to this body. I am this body. I am this mind. I am this individual. I am this person. Not realizing that the word person comes from the Latin persona, the mask. And it is a mask of concepts we've taken on board and believe ourselves to be. So we're living at that seeming person. And reckon when you look into that, you'll see that is the cause of all our psychological problems. Or it's only me can be fearful. It's only me that can be anxious. Only me that can be unhappy, depressed, guilty, or jealous, or envious. So me is the cause. And that fear, anger, jealousy, depression are the effects of the cause. And all that is my psychological suffering. This is the sort of thing I repeat all the time. You hear it once, as it goes through, and you'll go back onto the old track of trying to work it out in the mind, or you'll go some other story of somewhere, and you'll go back, I will become. But don't you understand, becoming is not being. It's a movement away from being. And what is being? Being is this immediacy, this right here, right now. It's not becoming, it's not wasing. It's being. Anyone who's not being right now, see for yourself. Okay. You can say, I was, but you know that's not the truth about you. What it was a conceptual image that's now dead and gone. And if the being wasn't there, how could you say you were? Anything about it. It was being then as it's being now. Because you can lose the concept of time also. So it's this being which we call human being. That's the label we put on. Again, the word, which is not the real. We call it a human being. And we've taken on the belief that there is such a thing as a higher power, a greater power, which we call God. And God is the supreme being because we believe it's greater than what we are. It is the thing that manages the universe. It is that too, but that's not anything superior because everything is that beingness. So you take away the word human, you take away the supreme, the word supreme, try and separate the beingness. And you know that's being a chair, that's being the sky, that's being the tree, that's being you, it's being me, that's being this thing called God, if you like. It's being the unhappiness, it's being the sadness, but it's also being and is the absolute. That's the godliness, is the absolute. And what can you add to the absolute? You can't add anything at all to it. It wouldn't be absolute if you could add the minutest particle to it. What can you take away from it? You can't take anything away from it. It still wouldn't be the absolute. So the absolute expresses, contains pattern, shapes and forms as everything. And that's the thing we've got to notice, that there's things. There's nothing other than in this manifestation but things. You're a thing. I'm a thing. The tree's a thing. The flower's a thing. The space is a thing. The sky is everything. Everything is that thing which we put labels or words on when we've learnt the words. That's the tree, that's the flower, that's me, that's you. We put labels on the thing. And the screen in which it all appears is that cognizing emptiness, that silence, that stillness, which is no thing, meaning it hasn't got any pattern, shape or any form. It just is, like space. Can you find a centre to space? Can you find any boundaries to it? What form of space got to go? But then have a look at it and ask yourself, can something come from nothing? But we say nothing, and we miss out on the true meaning of that also. It is no thing, which we put short and made nothing. And we believe that nothing is a vacuum, is a void. It's zilch, zero. But that's not it. It is no thing. It means it is the basic screen in which everything appears, plays around and disappears. And you are that no thing, which is nothing other than everything. None other than the totality. So I am that is the totality. It is the non-dual one without a second, that's how to try and describe it. Non-dual is one without a second, it's not even one. Because when we put one on it, it implies there could be other than one. Then we go into the count, 2, 3, 4, everything. If it's one without a second, and never was a second, you don't even need the word one. Only that. That is all there is. And innately, we already know that. That's the great mantra, I am that. And we know that innately because you say, that's the chair, that's the carpet, that's the tree, that's you, that's me, everything is that. But we put extra labels on it which discriminate it. So we sort of put the chair in, we're no longer seeing it as that, we're seeing it as a chair. Or that's the tree. But everything is that, everything can be broken down to that. Take the chair. If the chair is made of wood, what was the wood once? It was a tree. And what was a tree once? It was a sapling, it was a seed. It can be broken down, it was pure intelligence energy, just the same as you and I and everything else. It can be all broken down to that one essence. And the different patterns, shapes and forms are transient. And I'll tell you that everything is transient. There's nothing static in this manifestation. It's all changing. And when you have a look at this body mind, you call yourself, and you realise that body is sitting in that chair now is not the same body that was there that turned on the Skype a few minutes ago. It's changing. There are thousands of cells dying in it right now and being replaced. So it's static, it's an emanation process, constantly changing, constantly transient. So how can you say you are this body? Or mine? You say my body, you know you're not innately. That innate intelligence already knows it because you say my body. Like you say my house, my car, my chair, my dog. You know how the house, the car, the chair or the dog. Maybe you're not the body either. So investigate and see. Maybe you've taken on the erroneous belief that we are this person. You say my body, what's the body made up of? Isn't the body made up of elements? Air, earth, fire, water, space, just like the elements around you. All right, made up of elements. Well, separate yourself from those elements. Stop breathing. Take the air out of your body. See how long you'd last without that air. You wouldn't last too long. Take the water. Your body's 80% water. See how long you'd last without the water. Take the fire, the body temperature. So you get hypothermia and die of the cold without that body temperature. Get off the earth if you can. Get out of space. Separate yourself from space. You can't. Separate yourself from the food. So all these elements, you see, that you are not the body of mind, you are this, that body is just made up of elements. And all these elements can be broken down into subatomic particles, into pure energy. And what is energy? It's just nothing but a vibration, a movement, a spontaneous throb or pulsation. And all this manifestation is made up of that energy, which I call, instead of using the term God, I call it intelligence energy. And when I'm talking about intelligence, I'm not talking about your intellect. You'll say, my intellect, on this intellect, I've got to get it with the intellect, blah, blah. I'm talking about intelligence. Look out there in nature to see what intelligence is. And you'll see out there in nature there are galaxies forming, planets forming, moving around, imploding, exploding. Earth rolling around the sun, seasons coming and going, tides coming in and out, all sorts of things tsunamis patterning and throwing, all sorts of things are going on. And it's that same intelligence of breathing it. It's beating your heart. You as a person are not doing it. It's growing your hair in your fingernails. It's digesting your thoughts. Digesting your food, I should say. Enabling the thoughts to happen. So it's spontaneously functioning, vibrating, patterning and shaping and forming. As this pattern we call I or me. I am this body. So we've encapsulated ourselves in a group of concepts. We've embodied ourselves in a cocoon of thoughts. And see the way the thought functions. What's thought? My mind. We believe out of this body mind. Show me your mind if you think you are a mind. Can you show me something there and say, this is mine? And give me a description of it. And you'll realise there's no such thing as mind apart from a thought. And what is a thought? A thought is a movement of energy, a concept, an image, a word. It's vibrating as a word which we've learnt or picked up, a thought. And thought is sound, word is sound. Sound is conceptual or vibration into concepts, ideas and images. And what's the sound? It's a vibration. What's a vibration? A movement of energy. So it's that same intelligence energy that's functioning in its manifestation, it's functioning in its body-mind. It's a throb, it's a pulsation. It's got no duration to it. It's spontaneous, ever-changing but never change. And so it goes on. And this is where we located ourselves, in this conceptual image. Now, look at it again, investigate a bit further. If you think you are this body-mind entity, when did you begin? You'll say, I was born. But hang on a minute, can you remember your birth? You go, no, I can't remember the birth. So you've taken on a concept or an idea that you've been told happened. Why don't you remember your birth? Because you realise I didn't have any words then. I hadn't learned any words then. You see a little child now, they're not born with any words. They're not speaking, oh, I'm little Johnny or Billy or this, that, and another. And I don't like the way I was locked up in the womb for so long, blah, blah, blah. It hasn't got any stories, it doesn't have no words. And we didn't acquire or learn any words till we were about 2.5, some it might have been sooner, some later, it doesn't matter the exact time. It all depends on each so-called pattern. When we began to learn words from our parents. So you realise from that every word you've ever spoken or ever likely to speak has been picked up along the way. It's not something you were born with, something we've learned. And there are thousands or hundreds of thousands of words in the dictionary, and you're probably still learning new words to this day. I am, but I'm forgetting a lot of the old ones. So, right. But the word, we're looking at seeing the word is not the real, a concept I've taken on, and it can be utilised. It's not the enemy. It can be very useful, but it's a vibration. And when it vibrates in its opposite, look at the way your mind functions. And see, it's always functioning dualistically. See the past or future, pleasant or painful, happy, sad, loving, hating, positive, negative. There's the words we've learned upon, and it's vibrating one to the other. But it's the same one essence vibrating at both ends, but we've separated them with the conceptual belief we've taken on. We don't like we want the good, we don't like the bad. We want the pleasant and not the painful. But they're bound to come because it's a vibration. And we try to keep them separated and we suffer accordingly. We fixate on it and keep it there and we get bound up into the concepts. If you leave it as it is, it's changing. Like in the manifestation, again, look at nature. It's not daylight forever. Day and dark come about, winter and summer. Cool and heat, all the different patterns form in nature. And there's no thought stitched in the sky. Not fixated, they come and go, or the appearances. And there's no thought stitched in your head. Thoughts are transient. Where are yesterday's thoughts now? Unless you resurrect them, they're gone and gone forever. Where are tomorrow's? There's no tomorrow for a start of. And there's no tomorrow's thoughts. Thoughts are so you see, time's a conceptual image also. Ask yourself, is there a past if I don't think about it? And to try and think without a past, you've got to pause the thought for a moment. And you can't pause the thought. And if you're trying to look beyond, because there's no you to do it, but if you're not trying to look beyond it, there will be a gap when the thought is paused. And what can you say about it when there is that gap? Nothing. But you realise without the thought, you haven't stopped breathing, heart hasn't stopped beating, your hair and fingernails haven't stopped growing, the functioning is still going on. So realise in that moment you are prior to the thought. You are like that little child that didn't have any thoughts. He was living quite happily and growing, but didn't have any words to relate to. So you are beyond the mind. That's where we need to see, because see that the mind is the cause of all our problems. And there is no such thing as mind. It's a conceptual image we've formed about ourselves. It's the intelligence vibrating through it as thoughts, words, ideas, which can be very useful, but be self-destructive if we put the energy of belief in them. So when you're about 2.5, the capacity of reasoning developed in the human patterns, a little baby, how to learn or informed in the body. It didn't have to learn it. It innately was there, but it began to dawn on us the capacity of reasoning, a very useful capacity. But that reasoning is a vibration, capacity of reasoning. And the parents started to fussing around us, or speaking words, and we began to pick up with that reasoning capacity, we began to pick up the word. And they're saying this, that, and now, and then they began to tell you little Johnny or your little Billy. And the reasoning capacity learnt words like I and me and other words. Then you reason, I am little Johnny. This is me. There are another word of me. We associate ourselves with these words we've learnt. And this is what I am. And when little Johnny looked out there and he saw something he couldn't recognise, he hadn't learnt words for there, and he reasoned, that's not me. Or that's not that's not me, or that's not what I am. So when he saw that, he didn't know what it was because he hadn't learned words for it. And when he didn't know what it was, naturally he's going to feel insecure and vulnerable. When you see something, even to this day, something you're not sure what it is, you're going to be not too happy. You're not going to take it for granted. You're going to be very wary of it and careful. So that's what we did when we were young. We didn't know it. So we didn't take it. We separated ourselves from it. This is not me. And we're fearful. So then we began to look and try and find out what we were. But we began taking on the words that our parents told us, taken to be real. The energy of belief went into them. When we said the words, I am little Johnny, the energy of belief went into it. And then I became little Johnny. And when the word not me came up, that's not me, that's not I am, then it was separate from it. And then we were watching that separation, and we believed in that sense of separation. We believed in this, and we taken on the belief we were this separate entity, this individual. And we added things onto it. I am Bob. They told my name's Bob. I'm a good fella, or I'm not so good, or I'm unhappy, or I'm fearful, or I don't like this, or I don't want that. All concepts, all mental images, which energy belief going into, I believed as I was that. Now I've got a conceptual image about myself. Me, Bob, I'm Australian, good fella, I'm unhappy, fearful, and anxious. And this conceptual became the reference point, the self-centre, the ego. That's all the ego is, the self-centre or the reference point. Everything becomes related to that ego. So all our problems are problems of the self-centre, the ego, is the cause of all my problems. But there is no such thing as an ego. The ego is a conceptual image I have about myself. And when you look at that image and you see that image I've got about myself, me, Bob the Australian, is a dead image. Because it's based on past events and experiences and conditioning. What is the image I have about myself right now in this moment? The only thing I can say about that is I'm not unaware. I am that. I am what I am. Thatness. Pure essence. Now we got this image, and every thing becomes relative to that image. We relate to that image. I'm Bob, I don't like this, or that's not good enough. Tell me I'm a boy and I'm unhappy and I've learned all these words. So I've taken on this concept and image, and everything becomes relative to that. And relativity or relationship is dualism. And that's what we're pointing out. We've got into this dualistic idea, we are the separate entity, and there is absolutely no duality in non-duality. That's what the ancient scriptures tell us all along. It's one without a second, it's non-dual. It's only there is. But we've got this idea, we are this dualistic conceptual image that's going to become something. And it doesn't happen because becoming is not being. We move away from the beingness and the idea we're going to become something, and we get lost in that conceptual fight or thought and trying to become, doing this, doing that, and it doesn't happen. Well, isn't that so? How long have you been seeking? 10 years, 15 years, more, maybe less, or just turn to it? Why haven't you found it? Well, maybe where were you looking? You've always been looking in the mind. And the scriptures tell you you'll never find the answer in the mind because there's no such thing as mind. And they tell you, say that you'll never ever get peace of mind. The peace is when the mind is not. That's what they tell you. That's why they call it the peace that passes all understanding. It can never be understood or grasped by a concept or a thought. And while ever we're meditating and trying to find it in the answer, by trying to work it out in the mind, it doesn't happen because we're always looking in the mind for the answer. Because everywhere, whichever way you look, will always be in the mind. And if you ask yourself, what way is there out of the mind? Then you realise the only way out of the mind is full stop. Just don't go there. Pause the thought. Don't go there. And that's when the answer comes upon you. It comes upon you naturally, spontaneously, and effortlessly. It always was there, but obscured by the concepts and the beliefs we put into those concepts. Now look at the word belief. We believe this and believe that. And I say when you investigate, look up your dictionary definition of belief. It's an unquestioned acceptance of something in the absence of reason. It means we haven't reasoned it out, we've tried, but we've reasoned in the wrong direction in the mind and haven't found it. Unquestioned acceptance of something in the absence of reason, acceptance of an alleged fact, without positive knowledge or proof. We've taken on this fact that I am Bob, the Australian, the good fella, without investigating. Now I have investigated. It's not, I'm positive it's not, I'm not that person, I'm not that entity. Couldn't possibly be. I'm that life essence itself. So in investigation, false cannot stand up to investigate. A lot of these concepts we've taken on, a lot of analogies point that out. They go down to the ocean. I say to you, get me a bucket of blue water out of the sea. You'll say, don't be an idiot. You'll know you'll never get any blue water out of the sea, so it's not blue. But it appears to be. We've taken on the appearance and the belief that it is blue until it's investigated. Now you've investigated. You know it's not blue, but it'll still appear to be so. The sky is empty space. And we believe it to be blue sky. It was not clouded over another colour. The water in a mirage. The snake in the rope. All the different, the child of a barren woman, all these things. They point out with the analogies, pointing out that they're not the truth. Let's know the truth, and the truth will set you free, not know the false. So we've got these concepts and keep conceptualizing them and reinforcing them with that energy of belief. Now, they tell you in the scriptures, again, in the Buddhist scriptures, that this manifestation is Maya. Maya meaning illusion, like a dream. And it is a phenomenal manifestation. Look up your dictionary definition of phenomena. The definition of phenomena is that which appears to be so. So it's like the sea, like the sky appearing to be blue, and the water in a mirror appearing to be real. It appears to be so. And so is this manifestation, and everything in it is phenomenal. The things, you and I, happening in this shape and form are phenomenal patterns, shapes and forms. Just And it's only appearance only. What you are is the essence that's fashioning and functioning, expressing through that appearance. And that is the very life itself. So you are the life. That's what Christ told you when he said, I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. He wasn't talking about himself, his body, mind. He was talking about that sense of presence, the I amness. The I amness is not the sense of presence, not the thought I am. But that's what that I am represents. That to say you are present and aware right now, what would you say? I am. But you don't know I am so and so, I'm this and that. And that sense of presence, that I amness is the reality. It's not the thought, but the essence of it. So he says, stay with the I amness. Not stay with the thought, but remembering all the time, remind yourself, I am. I am the absolute. I am the totality. I'm not the individual. I'm not the person. And that'll soon take you home as much as possible. Every chance he got, he said he got back to the I am. So when the things are going on, as quickly as you can remember, go back and recognize and abide as that as much as possible till it dawns on you that this is so. But trying to become it with the thoughts and the feelings, it doesn't happen because the thoughts continue. They go on and you start a story and the story continues. The next one will be but, why, what if, or how, or when. It goes on and on and on, never finding an answer or an end to it. The writing of the books, there is no end. They continue, somebody always continues to write another one. And yet Shakespeare told you years ago, there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Pointing out that that's our problem, is thinking. And that's the way it functions in the pairs of opposites, good, bad, pleasant, painful. And if that's not going on, it's neither good nor bad, it just is. Nisargadatta tells us the same thing in different words when he says, nothing can trouble you. Nothing can trouble you. That's a wonderful saying, isn't it? If you realise that, so we're troubled by so many things. But no thing can trouble you excepting your own imagination. Now break that word imagination down to imagine, imagine. And realise that's all we're doing. We're creating mental or fictitious images and taking to be real. Now you see a good analogy of that, and look in the mirror. What do you see in the mirror? Reflections or images. Now you might see yourself in the mirror. You can't say it's not there. But you go up to one of those reflections or images and try and grab one out of the mirror. All you'll do is grab the glass. So you can't say they're not there because they appear to be there. When you try to grab one, they're not there. So when you look into this imaginary conceptual world, or say about it and investigate it, it falls apart just like that. There's nothing to grab. But you don't disappear. It's not the end of you. And the pattern, shape and form you're still expressing through, the image will still be there. But it is no thing that can ever be grasped by a concept, a thought, or a mental image. You are the no thing, patterning, shaping, forming, and expressing as everything. There's no separate entities in it. It's the one essence, always the one. But the wonderment and amazement of it is it can express as that pure intelligence energy. It can express in pattern, shape, and form as everything and anything and nothing, as the totality. That's why they call it the absolute. What can you add to the absolute? Not the smallest particle. If you could, it wouldn't be absolute, would it? And what can you take away from the absolute? The same. If you could take anything away from it, it wouldn't be the absolute. Buddhism, they call it the great perfection. What can you add to the perfect? Nothing. What can you take away from it? Nothing. And they tell you in one sentence, the great perfection is non-conceptual awareness. You are not unaware right now. You are aware. Drop the concepts of it, and all the concepts are the mental construct. And that is it. No distance to travel, nowhere to go. But if you try to get it from the point of view of a separate entity of me, you've got to try and discard that or break it down and see through it or dissolve it and find out who I am or what I am and meditate on it and do all sorts of things. It takes you years and you'll never ever get there because the answer is not in the mind. call it also in Buddhism, empty mind or no mind or pure mind. What is empty mind? Empty mind is that pure mind, that pure knowing without any concepts. And Banking, a Zen monk in the 16th century, called it the unborn Buddha mind. It's not the mind that is born. It's all the concepts that appear in them. Unborn Buddha mind, that's the pure mind. And he says, everything is perfectly resolved in the unborn mind. Now that's a wonderful saying. Everything, all our problems are resolved in that pure mind, leaving it as it is. And he goes on to say, why exchange the unborn for thought? But that's what we're doing. We think we're going to think it out and find the answer. We're constantly exchanging it for thought and get lost in it, lost in the concepts. And the great perfection is non-conceptual awareness. Drop the concepts. So it's all the great teachings point to it. So I'm not a Buddhist, I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Hindu. I'm none of those, I'm not a Jewish, I'm none of those things. But in all of those great scriptures, and a lot of garbage in them, but the true pointers in each one of them. Find the pointers that resonate with you, lock onto them, or investigate in your own mind and what resonates with you. The truth will resonate, and take them and utilise them. And they will lead to other expressions or revelations or insights into the truth. Until it might come a little periodically for a start off, but then the more you go back into it, or not a matter of going back, the more you recognise it and go into it and see it, the longer it sticks around, because till it becomes the natural, which it is every day. And even the old thoughts and feelings will come upon it. You're not bound into them anymore. And they're not going to touch you and hurt you as they did. And that's what they call, if you like to call it that, enlightenment. Enlightenment is not becoming something. It's getting rid of all the stuff that's been blocking it. When you take the load off yourself, it makes it much lighter. And that's where the word enlightenment comes from. Take the weight of concepts and fears and anger off yourself. Instead of trying to add to them, amass and accumulate more. And that's what we do when we try to think, work it out in the mind. We think we'll get a clear go at it, we'll become this and become that. Drop it. Drop as much as you can. And realise it's always this total presence, omnipresence, omnipotence, total power. Not mind power, thought power, higher power, God power, any other power, but omnipotence, total power, one power, omnipresence, total presence, not past, future, or next week or tomorrow or yesterday, but total presence. And break that word down to presence, to pre-sense. That's that essence there before even the senses appear. The pure essence which they can appear on. And realise and recognise, I am that. I am that. That is all I am. I'm not the person, I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, I'm not this, I'm not that. I am that pure intelligent energy. I am that pure being. I am that absolute. I am that fear. I am that anger. I am that hunger. I'm all those things. It's all that. And are they going to touch me as separate entities and things and words and concepts, which I put the meaning into? They can't. Because they're not taken on board. They can't be believed in anymore and not fixated on. As Nisargadatta says, oh, I forget at the moment, but it'll come up sometime, other. Anyway, I'll let it go for now. That'll do me. Now, got any questions or arguments? Tell us about it. Now, some of you have recognised it, if not fully in a certain way, and can give us good descriptions of what, which somebody else might.
Dear Bob, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yes, Bob, I just want to say that I love you so much and thank you very much for what you do. And I thank God, so-called God, to have you, people like you. And I just want to say goodbye. I'm very, very sleepy and tired.
Yeah. Well, remember, Hyman,
Yes.
you are that. You are that love.
I love you. Thank you, Bob.
Have a sweet dream.
I will. Thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
Goodbye. Good night.
Good night.
Anyway, get into it.
Go on, David. You are
You know, I'm bursting. I'm just trying to pick which one. Okay, thanks, Kat. Bob, where do our thoughts originate from?
It comes from where everything else does, that pure intelligence energy that's functioning in the universe. Thoughts are nothing but vibrations of words like everything else in life. And that they need a vehicle to express through. You can call it awareness, you can call that essence awareness if you like, but you can't tell me what awareness is. It's just a label we put on something that we know is. Now in that, it needs a pattern to express through, so it forms this body, and the body won't have been good without the brains and all the organs in it. So that life essence. Now you are the life. That intelligence is vibrating through it. Take the life out of that body, what do you got? You've got a corpse. That corpse got eyes, ears, heart, lungs, throat, all the organs there. But they're not a bit of good to it about that life. Just the same as your computer's got all that information in it. But what can it do if the power's not turned on? And when God says, I am the life, you are that life.
Most of us would call our thoughts our own, but I'm assuming you would have a different view on that.
Well, who's taking delivery of it, David?
Yeah.
Thoughts will come through that pattern, and that's a unique expression of it.
Right.
I can't say that, so let it be like that and utilise it as that. Well, you can say they're your own, but it's only the one that is that own.
So what we call as our, or most of us, what we call as our own thoughts are actually, you know, as you say, that the small I that we think we are, the egoistic I, is not real. Therefore, the thoughts we attribute to that are not coming from there. They're coming from somewhere else, right?
Yeah, coming from the one intelligence, and
Right.
each pattern, each human pattern is a unique expression. So each unique expression expresses whatever comes in. Thoughts, you can say, come in, are energy.
Yep.
They come in with the breath, if you like. And if you can breathe them out of the breath, let the thought right out in the breath. If you've got a bad thought there, don't want to hang on it, breathe it out.
So the thoughts that I'm having are unique to my own pattern, mental makeup, and etc.
Yes.
As thoughts, and someone else's thoughts are unique to their own specific pattern, and everyone else in the world too.
Yes. Like some people are musicians, some artists, some figures, some philosophers and inventors, and what's that other thing?
Psychopaths, pedophiles, thieves.
Well, yes. I mean, unfortunately, that's true too, isn't it? Because even them, you know, they're a part of the play. You know, the dream. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Bob. There's another thing. It's a bit of a. It's not exactly a question, but it's something that occurred to me in the last few weeks, and I'd just like to put it on the table. You know, thinking about non-duality and duality, the world of duality, which most of us see ourselves in. But the two things, there's the non-dualistic realm and there's the dualistic realm, but that in itself is a duality. Would you like to comment on that?
Well, there can't be non-duality without duality. And there can't be duality
Right. Okay.
without non-duality.
Yeah.
That's two ends of the same stick, you know.
Right. Yeah. So that
good, bad, pleasant, painful, two ends of the one stick.
So that the true self it has that nature, both the non-dualistic and the dualistic. As you say, like night and day, you know, here or whatever.
Yeah, it's a dualistic patterning.
Yeah.
Any patterning, shaping or forming without it appearing, but it's still only phenomena, appearance.
Sure. But it's fundamental to our true nature. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Bob. By the way, I thought your discourse tonight was quite wonderful. But yeah, so thanks too. Yeah.
Well, thank you. It's yours. Take it.
Thank you.
I guess just to add on the point about the thoughts, I guess, could you say the thoughts only exist by the attention that's given to them? So if there's no attention to thoughts, they're not there.
Yes. The thoughts, yes, if they're not fixated on, they move on. There's nothing static in the manifestation anywhere. Nothing static in that body, mind, or anywhere else. It's all transient. It's constantly changing. That body is sitting with you, not the same body you came into the room with. There's thousands of cells dying in it right now and being replaced. So that intelligence energy suffusing the body knows exactly what to do. Because each cell is suffused with innate intelligence. The liver cell is not going to replace a brain cell, or a heart cell is not going to replace a skin cell. Each cell, when it's come from the essence of the fluid in your breath, knows what to do. So the thoughts come up spontaneously, naturally, and effortlessly. We see we learn certain words and things like that, and the learning on acquiring them, we pick up certain ways of functioning. So we all learn the same language and different things like that. But the word is not the real.
Well, it is a good point. Without attention, nothing can exist. Everything feeds off that life essence, because everything is made of that life essence. Life essence is the pure potentiality, and that potentiality is realized as a form, be it a thought, or be it an object, or be it a feeling. Doesn't matter. It is whatever it vibrates into, the potentiality or the emptiness or nothingness or stillness vibrates into forms, thought form or whatever other form. Or another thing on thoughts, what David was saying, whether the thoughts are personal or whether they are unique or individual. The important, I think, factor or curious, interesting factor is to see how interdependent they are of everything else. Like you can't have thought that is unrelated to the body and the world. The thought always comes with whatever is happening around for that thought to exist. It's like, how is it really yours? Like the thought of a rainy day comes up because rainy day came up. So it is so reactive to everything that's happening that one could say it can't be personal. But yes, I get the pointer that, like Nisargadatta used to say, that everyone lives in their own bubble, individualized universe that is completely personal and unpenetrable to anyone else. But who to all those bubbles or universes belong? And this is where the non-duality comes in. And again, that idea that there is duality versus non-duality. And yes, this is a valid pointer, but the way I like to look at it, for the appearance to exist, it has to be duality. And the option 1 is duality, the option 2 is nothing. Non-duality is somewhere, opposite to duality. Not really. You either have duality or you have nothing. And we can say that that nothing is opposite to duality. Yeah, sure. But where both appear, both options, that is the ultimate truth, which is beyond something that you can't step back any further. And it's not a thing, it's a no thing. Because Yeah, there is no, like, some people like to use the term, oh, I had non-dual thoughts, or I had non-dual experiences, or I had non-dual way of looking at things. No, everything that is conceivable or perceivable or experienceable is dual, because it has the opposite. Even if the opposite is just the absence, like, you know, like I'm seeing something, so the absence is I'm not seeing it. No, it doesn't have to be that I'm seeing the thick end of the stick. So the opposite is to see thin end of the stick. No, and not seeing is enough of the opposite. So really trying to grasp it and trying to put it in a language is just such a hopeless job, because it can always be dispute. It can always be transcend, like take whatever word you want and go beyond the language. That's where the home is. Beyond the language is non-conceptual awareness.
Could I make a comment on that, Kat and Bob?
Please.
When you were talking there, and of course built on Bob's discourse, my thoughts. Sorry, my thinking there was that the non-dualistic realm, which most of us see ourselves in, could not exist without. Sorry, the dualistic realm,
Yeah.
which most of us see ourselves in, could not exist without the non-dualistic, because I think Bob said just before that the non-dualistic is the no thing, the absolute blank screen. So everything that's happening is happening on that blank screen. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I call things. Everything, you and I are things.
Right. So
And the
they must. The two are completely inseparable. The non-dualistic and the dualistic.
that's right.
Mm.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Thanks very much.
I have a comment about that too.
Go for it.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, for me, there's a distinct seeing that the awareness and attention are kind of responding in two different ways. The attention for me is awareness expressing through the brain, and the brain taking in all this information and focusing and analyzing and judging certain situations, thoughts, events, experiences, where the awareness, that attention and the flitting around from thing to thing, that happens within the space of awareness. So the attention is going to go all over, and the attention can be focused on the thoughts, or can be focused on feelings or the events. But once that thinking falls back into the awareness, in a sense, and you're the awareness and not the awareness completely focused on the attention, then it just takes on a whole different experience for you. You're the empty, you can see that they're just thoughts that are coming and going, that it's energy expressing as everything from the perspective of the awareness. But from the perspective of attention, you're the thinking, you're doing it, you're the doer, you're making things happen. But from the perspective of the awareness, it's all happening and you're not doing it. It's just energy.
That's what I say, you say, through the brain.
Distinction between the awareness and yes. So when awareness is expressing through the mind, that's the attention.
Yeah.
It's actually the mind. It's a mechanical thing. It's no longer the empty space expressing. Energy expressing is everything. And that, as far as the duality, once you're in the thinking falls into that awareness, and you know that you're the awareness of your thoughts, then you can see that everything is expressing dualistically, but it's always that one essence expressing as everything. So you're not tricked and you're not taken up into the duality so much. You just realize it's an expression of energy.
Well, it couldn't be, as I say,
So it's expressing it. It appears to be, and doesn't go away, but you just see it.
Mm. Tony has nice distinction on this one. I like that one when you say, yes, the attention is a movement within the awareness. Tony likes to say that attention is like a torchlight, that it shines on particular thing. And awareness is kind of more of like unfocused sort of, there is no fixation anywhere, which is, well, of course, all the definitions are to agree upon, and once they are adopted, we can use them. But yeah, it's kind of, everything is one ultimately, but it's kind of helpful at some point to distinguish certain qualities. And identification as attention, yes, is identification as an object, as a self. And seeing the movement of attention is always from the point of non-attention, or from the point of awareness.
Exactly. So the awareness doesn't move with the attention.
Yeah, you're breaking, which is
Here to there,
which is
which helps create experience. Yeah. And am I breaking up?
yeah, you're breaking up. Yeah, it's probably not a great reception where you are.
Okay, there you are. Okay, yeah, everything's moving now. But yeah, the attention, you know, flips around in the awareness that happens within this space, like unchanging awareness. So.
Yeah. Yeah, you could even say that attention is a movement and awareness is a stillness.
Yes, exactly.
That's dividing it again. Like I say, everything, it's all things. And the space and that, which are all the awareness and things, is no thing. Can something come from no thing? It can't. So everything is that no thing, patterning, shaping, form, and appearing in the phenomenal as appearing as other. But it's never changed its true nature.
Yeah.
Everything is only that. And that we call that life, if you like. Without life, what could ever appear? We can divide it up into awareness, this, that, and the other. What we do? But it's all of one essence, appearing in a myriad of wondrous white, pure. Well, if I put a label on, that's not it anyway. So.
Yeah, you sometimes call it consciousness, but it's only just for the sake of pointer, because whether it is attention or awareness or consciousness or anything, it is just still, just form manifested in the emptiness, temporary, being emptiness itself anyway.
Or life.
Yeah. Yeah, everything goes back to that. That's why, you know, it appears to be dualistic, it appears to be movement.
Yeah.
But without that awareness, well, as Bob says, intelligence, energy, that's all this. It just appears to be dualistic.
Yeah.
Intelligence, energy is just a label too.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's a good label because it contains both movement and stillness, because intelligence is movement and intelligence is stillness and is knowing, and the energy is movement.
The activity of knowing.
Yeah.
The short term, Activity, knowing is an activity. It's something that's happening right in this moment. Everybody is knowing right there, right now. And that activity is a vibration, a movement of energy. And energy is, that's the energy, and the activity is intelligence. You can call it God, you can call it whatever you like, but it's still only that one, and always has been, always will be.
Could I ask another question, please, Bob?
Yep.
I just wondering, the best way forward for us, those that are following this path, is it through affirmation or self-inquiry and negation, or a combination of both?
Well, who would be doing any of that?
Yeah.
Just relax into that pure being.
Yeah, you're right. But you,
Just go into it. Try and step out of it when you can't. Try it, and that's trying again. Prior to thought, if you know, what's your next thought going to be? You don't know. And that moment when you don't, that not know, seeming not knowing is there, Without the thought, you are beyond the mind, prior to the mind.
Mhm.
But with the thought paused, you're still seeing, you're still breathing, your heart's still beating, hearing, all the functioning still going on. But thinking is
Yeah.
going on.
So that's what we should be aiming at. That it's not so much. I mean, you know, we're often taught, the path forward is through, asking who I am and etc. And that, but perhaps, well, what you're saying there, if I understand it correctly, it is even better than that. It is just to be in that stillness between thoughts, if you will, be in that place between two thoughts,
Yeah.
and be there as long as you can, if you will.
I recognise as often and frequently as possible.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Thank you.
And you can drop into that like a drop into meditation without trying to meditate.
Yes.
Trying to meditate is keeping you from it.
Yeah.
To a natural, spontaneous.
Yeah.
That.
So that is better than perhaps the step-by-step thing of some parts of self-inquiry that's go through the process of I am, or who am I, and I am this and I am that, and then there's the negation thing.
I'll never look at that. Who am I? People are. Who am I? Who am I? And
Yeah.
get lost in the thing. But who am I? What's that? A question.
Hmm.
Who am I? Ask yourself, who's the questioner?
Hmm.
Say, I am.
Hmm.
I am the questioner, and that's the question. They're both the same thing.
Hmm.
Questioner and the questioner one cancel each other out. No question.
Right.
No question. There can't be a questioner.
Yeah.
Where's your question then? What answer do you need?
So that's the destination. When the two things cancel each other out, that's our destination.
And that can go to anything. It's either two or one, actually.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Thank you.
When you realize that there is no one to who is asking, who asks the question, and then you realize there's no one there, then you can't even say I arrived on the destination because there is no I.
Right.
Questioner literally dissolves into that pure space like awareness. With that, I mean, those ways of inquiry, they are not useless. They may be actually helpful in the recognition, but the ultimate goal is the recognition, not becoming. Because people say, oh, I need 20,000. I spoke with a friend today who is listening to one of the guys on the YouTube, and he says, you need 20,000 hours of meditation to deactivate default mode network, because that's what happened to him. And now he thinks he knows. So who is there who thinks he knows?
Yeah.
For others.
Yeah, right.
He didn't really get far with his 20,000 hours if he knows. The thing is, if you want to become someone in future, you may actually figure out whether there is such a thing as future. And where is that future? Where else than in the thinking? Future is only in imagination. So if you are to sit for certain amount of hours or do certain amount of inquiry or neti or who am I, to arrive at some point or become someone in future, you are in the dream, because the future is in the head. So you want to become something in the head. You either recognize your true nature in the present moment, in this reality, to be already so, or you gone in the story in the head. And recognition is available as soon as you stop conceptualizing, as soon as you wake up from the dreaming. Because when you are daydreaming, you are imagining tomorrow, you are imagining some other time. This is very loud, Bob, what are you doing? then you are daydreaming, then you are not awake. When you awake from the thinking stream, you're here now. And in that here now, if you don't conceptualize, I'm the body, I'm the mind, who are you? You are nothing.
Hey, Bob, can somebody else get a word in here? Although there isn't anybody else, it's just one. But it's Maggie here. I just wanted to ask you, have you got any tips about what we can do to be in the now? Like, dumping everything you think you know and doing the neti and just being still, because that's where the answers are going to come from now, because there's no other when. There's just no other when. This is it, right here, right in front of your nose. And I just wondered what you did when, you know, when you were first getting into this stuff. Did you do neti? Did you find it easy to come into stillness and the silence?
I did a lot of things for many years, but they got me nowhere till I got to the Nisargadatta. And he pointed out I wasn't the body, I wasn't the mind. And I'd heard that many, many times. But this time I saw it.
Yeah. Well, what's the link between that seeing and that immediate? It's immediate, isn't it? Like, otherwise we wouldn't have all these conversations. We just know.
you were talking about now. When does now begin?
Now. There's only now. Only ever now.
Yeah, so,
and it's the safest place in the universe.
Well,
you can take refuge there. Absolutely. And I don't do any archaeological digs anymore. I don't count how many teachers or what. I just stay in the now. And truly, it's the safest place. Yeah. The answers come in the stillness.
Well, be the now instead of I trying to stay in the now. You are the now.
Yeah.
What questions do you have then?
I know, but can I just say the thing that has kept me back, and I had to go really deep and look at this, was listening to too many people. And there's a lot of good stuff out there, but there's lots of stories of, oh, it happened, and when I looked at my hands, I knew there wasn't anybody in this body. So there's, whether I like to believe it or not, or there is a sense of expectation that someday I'll go bang and be walking 6 inches off the ground, smiling beatifically at everyone, and, you know, peace and no bad vibes. Seriously, I keep thinking, unless I stay in the now like that, that stuff, they're thoughts that can really, you can really follow and get yourself all back in the Maya. So I don't know, but I can't help it. There's still this feeling of I want something to happen to suddenly make this all light up. I don't know. What do other people think about that? I can't be the only one that's expecting some miracle. Anyway, thanks. I'll switch off and listen. Thanks, Bob. Love you, and happy birthday for last month.
Which Maggie is that?
You have the last name?
Yeah. Maggie from Wonthaggi.
Ah, good.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, me, Maggie from Wonthaggi.
Oh, long time.
Famous. Just ask Eddie Maguire. Sorry, I'm getting off track here. No, go for it, Dale. And Bhakti. Where's the love, man? You know, I've always said this to you. We should be grooving down to some music and really having a bit of a laugh. Come on, we're taking it all too seriously. Anyway, I love you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good to hear you.
I just wanted to comment on why isn't it happening now? You know, she's waiting. That everybody's waiting for this event, and as Bob would say many times, I'll paraphrase it a little bit. If you were in charge, then what are you waiting for? Why are you waiting for this event and waiting to awaken? And as Bob said, he tried everything and nothing worked. And then suddenly there was an understanding and a seeing, which he didn't manifest either. So it's basically all appearing and disappearing on its own. That understanding arises on its own. So it's effortless in that sense. It's effortless because you're not doing it. You need do nothing. But if it's going to play out, if that intelligence energy is going to play out, that you're going to continue seeking and you're not going to have that understanding, then that's how it's going to play. But it's still that intelligence energy doing everything. So you're never really out of the moment. It's just playing out that I'm seeking in the moment. But you're still that. You're never not that, whether it's seeking or not seeking, the understanding's there or it's not there. But you can't make it happen because there's nobody there to make it happen. It's either supposedly going to come or not. So that's why Bob said all those years he tried and tried and nothing happened, because he wasn't doing it. It was the energy trying and trying and trying. And then that expression, the understanding and the seeing came that I'm not this body mind, and it's all the intelligence energy expressing as this. And it's this idea that we've been given, this belief that it's something else. So, and as Bob said, we're just removing the false so that we can see it's expressing, everything's expressing perfectly. Even if some thought comes, this isn't it. That's the intelligence energy too, expressing and saying, this isn't it. But it's expressing as a person saying, this isn't it. So, just wanted to share that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's what we,
Nice.
we
Can
need.
I ask a few times, like Donna, you've said, oh, you know, and then you see it, or Bob, you'll say, and then recognizing. And I think, who recognizes and sees then? Is it the life intelligence recognizing itself, or yeah, who sees and who recognizes if there's no one there to do it?
Well, I tell it to say that generally in every meeting. I don't think I said tonight. In Buddhism, they call it a cognizing emptiness. It's the emptiness that is cognized, but we think we are doing the cognizing, but it's not. It's as they say, it's the emptiness, that awareness or stillness or whatever you like to call it, or godliness, is cognizing. And that cognizing is knowing, another term. It's a knowing emptiness. And it's emptiness is form, he said from there, you know. And form is nothing but the emptiness. But we lose sight of that. We need to recognize. When it stops being cognized, or say it doesn't stop, we need to recognize. Have another look and see for yourself. So that's who's doing the recognizing. It's seeing what your true nature is. It's your seeing, your hearing, your tasting, touching, smelling, the functioning itself. That knowing is there, being, knowing, loving to be. You know, not that you're not knowing, you are knowing right now. And it's a cognizing emptiness, so you must be cognizing right now. So you're already there.
And if anything appears in it, like if wanting appears in it, desire appears in it, or some fleeting dream of awakening or enlightenment or something more or something bigger, it is just another phenomena passing. It's that screen-like awareness, and it's the phenomena passing. It's a pattern of wanting, or pattern of not this, something more pleasant. It is not personal. Or even the pattern, like I see David was saying, oh, but what should I do? I would do anything, you know, I can do neti, I can do this. You know, that pattern of almost willing to surrender or being...
Sorry.
Yeah, so that is also just a phenomena appearing in the space like awareness, in that cognizing emptiness, or that non-conceptual awareness. So the recognition happens. Recognition, again, it kind of suggests there is something or someone who recognizes. No, it is coming back to original knowing that is there prior to obscuration of the thinking, concepts, interpretations, meaning making, and judgments, and all of it. So the primary knowing is like the baby that knows that it exists, and now it knows again. It kind of this is it, knowing again. So it doesn't have to be anyone there. It's just really getting rid of the clouds of obscuration for that original clarity to shine through. So it doesn't have to be anyone who actually acknowledges or observes that clarity, because it is primordial clarity. It's like coming back to the silence when the noise stops. The noise, the conceptual mental noise stops. There is no one who has the silence. Silence is there without any entity needing to have it. So it is kind of cognizing again, or coming back, or re-entering the natural state. It's much simpler, because when we kind of expect an event, then there is, event has the beginning or an end. Event is something that is changing, that comes and goes. Event may be the most pleasant, ecstatic, blissful, or enlightening as anyone may dream, but it's still an event. Is something, is passing phenomena, is transient, is not it. Because that event appears where? In the cognizing emptiness. So do away with the events, waiting for something grand. Doesn't matter. It will be, if it has the beginning, it will have an end. So it's not worthy of chasing.
Just on that, Kat, that state of awareness that you've just spoken about, does it transcend what we call birth or death and birth or rebirth?
Yeah, body appears and disappears in it. Body is also changing phenomena. Body.
Well, once one reaches that state that you've spoken about, and Bob has spoken numerously about, you know, then what we call, or most of us call, death and birth, and that is just phases, you know, in a way, you know, but that awareness is constantly there all the time.
Is no one there though? Because when you think of the weather, all the weather, good weather, bad weather, appears on the sky, but the sky is not a person. So the weather doesn't appear to anybody, to anyone.
They call it space-like awareness. Awareness is like space.
Yes.
Fused with a knowing or intelligence. That's why they call it aware, wakeful. And everything, pattern, shapes and forms, and appears and expresses as it. Or is expressed through them. As everything.
Right.
And that, you're not unaware, so you are full of awareness, that pattern you call the body.
So when my body drops away and that you know, that awareness continues on.
It didn't come from anywhere, it didn't go from anywhere. It always just is.
It always was.
Yes, space is untouched. Whether the body comes or goes, space is not touched.
Can you remember your birth?
Not at this point, no. No.
You'll remember your last breath?
But, sorry? Yes.
You think you'll remember your last breath?
My last breath?
You don't remember your first breath.
Oh, well, I might remember my last breath.
You think? Have a look.
I might.
Is this my last? So you can't say you began, you can't say you'll end. Just look at that.
Okay.
When you were in the womb, the life was in that little embryo, that little fetus. When it popped out, all of a sudden there's a space. Just as well it hasn't got anywhere to say, what the hell am I doing?
What am I doing here? It was more comfortable where I was. Yeah.
I like the idea that you don't become more aware. You just realize all the things that we're saying you weren't aware, and you stop giving that attention and belief. And as Bob says, start with the fact that you're already that, and then watch everything come up saying otherwise and trying to convince you otherwise, and how quickly this idea that it's a me and I'm this and I'm that comes so fast. You don't even have a second to say, So start with the idea that you're already that, and then watch all the things that try and convince you otherwise. And it's usually your thoughts.
Yeah, only.
The main thing is to even drop the idea of becoming.
Yeah.
Because I've never moved away from being. There's no such thing as becoming, it's a concept. What time is there? When you say there a past, you don't know, or a future. So becoming is not being. And you can't negate your beingness. You can't say you were born, you don't remember, but you were being, the fetus was being in the womb. So you can't say you're dead, you won't remember. But the life essence will be breaking down, the microbes and worms and maggots will be devouring and getting the feed out of it. Life was living off it. But they'll still be being.
The body is your costume. You are the being. And if you have any doubts whether you are already that or not, try and stop being. You can't do it. Being is for granted, it's there.
Sure.
Jamie, would you like to add something? You have brilliant insights and we didn't hear you for ages.
Yes. Jamie, we haven't heard from you before.
Mm.
Hello.
Hey.
You can't see me. I can't see myself.
No, we can't see you, no.
How are you?
Good.
Happy.
How are you?
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
That's good.
Mm.
Happy birthday for last week. Is it last week? Or?
A couple of weeks ago. It was 21st of July.
Right. I don't know why my video's not working. Must be my computer. I've turned it on, but anyway, I'm here. Where else could I be?
Always here.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Yeah, good to have you here. I mean, it would be nice to see you too, but it's good to hear you.
Yeah, I don't know why it won't work. My computer's old, so I'm not used to these Zoom things.
Yeah, it usually asks you a question whether it can use the camera. Maybe it just kind of got omitted.
Yeah. And I'll see if I can turn it on. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You don't need to see me. Just happy to be here. I'm happy to be. It's good to see so many people on Zoom. And hello, everybody. And
Hey.
Hello.
yeah, I can't really add much more to what Bob says, but I think the most important thing that Bob says is same as the lady before said, is start with the fact that you're already that. Yeah. What you're seeking, you already are. So just look at what could be coming up and obscuring that fact. But start with that fact. It's really the very significant truth that we are all that. Already nothing needs to be done. Yeah. Even if the thoughts come and go, they're troubling thoughts, they're just an appearance. It's all an appearance. That being that we are is the truth. That's the unchanging essence. And nobody can say that they're unaware.
That's right. Yeah.
Just, you know, sit with that. It's a very simple, subtle truth. So we look for some kind of magical experience that's going to demonstrate what we already are to us. And it's like Kat was saying before, it's so true. Whatever comes will go. And we all, I bet most of us on this board have had experiences of oneness or sort of mystical experiences, but they all go, they come and they go. And they're wonderful at the time, you know, and it's fantastic when they come, but they will go, but you will still always be left with what you are, which is that natural essence. And that's where the peace, the true peace is beyond all that comes and goes. We are that which does not come or go. Very simple.
Yeah.
Self-evident.
Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah. Was the guitar?
Oh, my guitar, yeah. It's been picking away while I've been sitting here.
Beautiful.
How are you doing, Peter?
Yeah, I'm good, Bob. I've had to been distracted this morning because I've had someone in doing some work on the shower, so I've been in and out. But I'm good. I'm looking forward to Saturday
Good.
and having a chance to perhaps try and clarify a few things. So should be good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a few more minutes. Like Jane, would you like to chip in? As you have a good insights on the whole.
Very quiet.
Yeah, I was actually looking for something. I'm a bit tired today, so I was actually looking for something that I wrote a while ago because nothing's coming up. Nothing's coming up because I think it's because I'm tired. Yeah, and yeah, but anyway, I just think everything that's been said is good. And I think the small thing that came up before was that anything that comes up is not it.
Yeah.
Anything that comes up is a dialogue, and the truth of your own being is you can't really do much with that. The truth of your own being is who you are, and the mind will apparently take you away and take you on this little journey and tell you you need to do this and that and go here and go there and blah blah. But it's the nature of the mind to do that, you know. But you'll always come, and so you'll apparently be taken away. In actual fact, you'll never be taken away. You can never be taken away from the place you never left. And that's the fact of your own being. Because that is the only fact you know for sure, is that you are. So, yeah, but it's an interesting journey, you know, because mine started in 1988. And, you know, and when I heard Bob, I knew that I'd come to, well, if you like, the end of the road, or the fork in the road, or the road back to the place I never left. But the mind apparently took me here, there and everywhere, you know. And it's a while before it really sinks in that that's the nature of the mind. That's what the mind does, you know. And so what I love that Bob says, you just start, I don't know, start from the fact of your own being and the cognizing of the emptiness, you know, so you get apparently taken away. Like Paul, my friend Paul calls it, you sort of sucked into the vortex and then you're sucked back out of the vortex. And it's an interesting ride. It's like being on a carnival ride, you know, sometimes in those early days, you know. Because you said, oh, that bloke said, you know, the only thing I know for sure is that I am. And so you understand it intellectually at first. And then all of a sudden, and you have all these questions and you have all these, you know, ways of showing that you understand, or the mind does. And then all of a sudden, no questions come up anymore. All of a sudden, you don't have a single question and you go, wow. What's going on? Isn't that amazing? I don't have a question. I know the fact of my own being. I don't have to be sucked in and out of the vortex anymore, you know. So anyway, that's just my little 2 cents worth. Love you all. So fantastic to hear you all tonight. Thank you very much. Everybody.
Yeah, beautiful.
I had a friend of mine, we were talking one time and I said, you think that you're in and out of awareness and, you know, like this flip-flopping. I got it, and then I'm present, and then I'm not. And then I said, well, maybe awareness is picking you up and putting you down. You're not, you know, you're not getting awareness and then not getting awareness. How about awareness is picking up the you and then putting the you back down? You know, I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the cloud comes on the sky. The sky is untouched. The little costume of I. Beautiful. It's a nice sound.
Sorry, it's come to me again, and I've got no camera, so just a page of emptiness. Well, love you, Bob. Love you, Kat.
Love you.
Take care.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
How you going, Matthew?
Yeah, I'm well here, thanks.
Good.
Nice to connect.
Yes. The first time you've been on?
I have had attended a few probably a month or two ago.
Yeah.
And thank you for your donation. We got the notification of donation. Thank you very much.
No worries.
How do I make a donation, Kat?
There is a button on Bob's website, www.sailorbob.adams.
Okay, right.
There is a button. The easiest way is just to put on PayPal. Only if easy.
Yep. Yeah, no, thanks. Thanks, yeah.
Yeah, thanks for that. Anyway, good night, Bob and everyone. It's been great. But thanks for that last little tip, David. Ciao, Bella.
Cheers.
I love you all. I love you all, man.
This was Maggie. Yeah. Good to hear you, Maggie. Maggie, she was in a meeting 4 years ago on Sunday, and I translated that with Polish subtitles. So half of Poland knows you, Maggie, no? Because you had such a good contribution with Shakti Bhakti singing and love. That was great.
Oh, I must have relapsed because I don't think I was too good tonight. But really, I'm here. What else can I say? I'm here.
Yes.
And when you know that, you laugh.
Absolutely.
It's hysterical. I mean, I'm not doing anything. No one's doing anything. It's just hysterical. It's a cosmic joke. And wow, I just love you all, babies. Love you all.
Yes,
Stay safe and have a laugh because it's a joke.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Love you.
Bye. Lots of love. Bye, everyone.
Joe.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you guys.
Bye, Bob. Bye, Kat.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Donna. Love you.
Bye. Love you.
Bye.
Bob. Bye, Kat. Bye, Sheridan. Bye, Tony. Bye, Sally and Matthew and David.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye now.
And a chair as well.